When we were young, 2024, all album plays from front to back. We are listening to 57 records in total. Emo Social Club, we here at the club are reviewing all 57 of them.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's been crazy so far.
Some we've heard, some we have not heard before. On this episode, though, this is one I think we've neither of us have heard.
We have not.
Yeah, so on this episode, we are talking about State Champs, The Finer Things. And before we tell you what we think about this record, Lizzie, why don't you tell us about State Champs and The Finer Things?
State Champs knew about the finer things in life when they released their debut album on October 8th, 2013 via Pure Noise Records. It debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Heat Seekers chart and sold over 3,100 copies in its first week.
Big,
especially like for
Big.
2013.
Yeah, that's big.
It was produced by ex-Newfound Glory member Steve Klein, and the singles off of this were Elevated.
Yep, just one single.
Just one single. During this tour cycle, they supported Motion City Soundtrack and Bayside as well, and their first full U.S. tour included them opening for We Are the In Crowd, William Beckett, Set It Off, and Candy Hearts.
Yeah, 2013 was an interesting year, man.
That was
interesting time in the scene.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
They did just do this as the 10 year.
2023.
In 2023 in December. They're from New York, right?
Albany, yeah.
They're an Albany band. But it is kind of surprising like how like kind of quickly they just kind of popped off and had successes, and now it's 10 years of this record and they're playing it here. Well, we're going to give you our opinions on this record, but before we do, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel here. You can press the button down there. It's right next to the like button and right above all the comments where you can tell us your thoughts on this record. There's also a playlist in the description where you can go and check out all of our other reviews. We are doing all 57, so if we haven't gotten your favorite yet, we will. And if we have gotten your favorite, it's there. We also have longer versions of these episodes where we talk about more stuff. We have more reviews. We have more of that goodness of these episodes. If you become a YouTube member here on our channel, or if you go over to our Patreon page, you can get access to those. A little bit longer, a little bit more of us, a little bit more of our insights and our commentary on when we were young and these records that we love, care about,
Deeply.
and cherish.
Always.
Passionately. Here are my thoughts on State Champs, The Finer Things. I have kind of made it a personal choice because there are so many people that like this band, and I have so many friends that are so passionate about this band that I have just kind of decided I'm not going to like them. Just kind of on principle. Like, you know, when like you got a lot of friends who are just like, oh, you should check out this, you should check this out. And you're like, I'm not going to do that, man. I'm not going to check it out.
Yeah, it's like the reverse. Like, you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, it's like, oh, but you might like it. Yeah, I might. I'm not gonna. That's been my relationship to State Champs, really.
Right?
In reality, like because it was 2013 and it was kind of in that bro pop punk era, I was never really into pop punk, and I never got into this stuff until more recently, because at this time I was like exploring other genres, and like EDM was kind of taking over, and like kind of the emo and pop punk and alternative scenes were kind of dying down a little bit. So I was just kind of aging out of it. I was like moving on to other stuff and like just didn't really get into it. Them and Neck Deep and other stuff around this time just never really like caught my eye, caught my ear. I was never really interested. I think now that like State Champs is doing, like they're a huge band. They're a well-known band, and they have gone on tour with some people we've interviewed, Young Culture, Between You and Me, I believe a band named after a lyric from one of the songs on this record. So hearing these bands who are clearly like fans of, if not influenced by, State Champs and creating music similar in that, and I like their music, I'm like, well, I got to give this a chance to like, you know, really get into this now. And my friends will just have to deal with the fact that I, you know, never wanted to listen to them until now. I really like this record.
Okay.
I really liked it. And fuck all of you. I can't deny it. Like, this is just a straight up pop record. It very much is pop punk, and it does all the pop punk stuff, but it's written just like a pop record. We've had like some of the ones we reviewed, like We Are the In Crowd, Hey Monday. It's like, these are pop bands. This is pop music with guitars. This is a pop punk band that is actually writing like pop music. And I think that it sounds to me the same as all the other records I've liked that we've done on here, We the Kings and stuff like that. I'm like, this is good. This is like fun to listen to. The energy is there. Like all the things that like you really want when you listen to a pop punk band all are in this record. So yeah, I fuck you. Derek is a really good singer. he has really good pop melodies. He has really good pop sensibilities on this. He does a lot of like Fall Out Boy style runs. Clearly he's very influenced by early Fall Out Boy. And he does a lot of those like melody runs on this. And I'm like, he's actually pretty good at it. Like in a pop punk world where your vocals are not necessarily going to be the biggest and best part of the entire making of the record, we listen to a lot of like super whiny pop punk.
Yeah.
And Derek does not do that. Derek writes really good vocal lines. He writes really good lyrics. I think that it makes it much more of a pleasant listen than a lot of the other pop punk records that came out before this that he was definitely influenced by. And so I relate it to like Fall Out Boy, where it's like you cared about the vocals when you were making this band. So it's a good band because you actually care about vocals. The only thing I'll say is that I think Derek's voice sounds really good when he's not doing like the raspy pop punk sound with it, which he has to do because it is more energetic and it is more like high pitched during the choruses and stuff. But whenever there's like a moment where he kind of pulls back and sings more clean, I'm like, oh damn, like Derek can sing. Like Derek is actually talented. Like damn. So I like a lot of those moments on this record. And so that was good. My top tracks from State Champs, The Finer Things. I knew Elevated was the single. I do think it is objectively the best song on this record. It is the killer opener. I did not pick it because it was a single. It's unrelentingly one of the best songs in this record. Like it's just so good. It's clear why it was the single and clear why it's the top of the record to sell, a million copies of this.
Yeah.
So I did not pick that one as my top 3 because I wanted to pick other ones.
Of course.
Deadly Conversation I liked. I think this takes what a lot of bands were doing in the early 2000s in pop punk, but it refines it in a way that I actually like it. Because as we've talked, I don't really like a lot of like the early 2K pop punk stuff. I didn't get into to Blink-182 for a long time, Newfound Glory or any of these bands. I liked Green Day. That was about it. But Green Day always felt more like alternative. But I think this takes that and makes it like in a way that makes more sense to me now. Or I listen to it and I go, I hear the influences in this. I like this better. I like what you did with this. I also think this has one of Derek's better vocal performances on the record. It's more fun. What he does, he gets to like kind of do a little like fun stuff on this one. I'm like, good for you, Derek. You get that. You get out there and you get it. Remedy is so fucking catchy. It's so catchy. I could listen to this song on repeat. I could listen to the song over and over again. I was like, damn, this is a really catchy song. I also looked up the lyrics to this because I was like trying to like see like, maybe the lyrics are like kind of, the normal pop punk stuff like we complain about with like Simple Plan and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the lyrics are kind of deep on this one. Like they're pretty good. I think they're a little bit of like, the normal like guys in pop punk bands complaining about their exes. But I think that they're at least doing it in an interesting way that isn't just like the same way that like a Simple Plan or an early 2000s kind of band would do it. And the last one was Mind Bottled. A lot of these pop punk records we're doing have the same issue where once I get to the middle of it and I forget that I'm like actually listening to it, everything starts blending together. Like I sort of stop paying attention to it. My mind starts to wander and it becomes background music to me. So right around when they get to the middle of some of these records, I just don't care anymore essentially. But then I have to listen to it a few more times and then I try to catch into like what's interesting about the particular songs from every other one. Obviously, pop punk is a genre that all of it sounds the same.
Yeah.
So for my third one, I picked Mind Bottled because it is like one that at least stuck out upon repeat listens of it. I liked the chorus of it. I liked the sound of it. Whenever they do something that it doesn't sound like everything else, you start to like pinpoint those. Some of the melodies on this I thought were really interesting compared to a lot of the other ones, which is sort of that like similar pop punk sound. I've definitely already played this a couple of times because I really enjoyed it. So I was like, I want to get to know some of these songs that I kind of blanked out on, and I like them. This also has the benefit of being like, you could just play any song on here at any time out of context of the record, and it works because they're all just pop songs. It's great. My least favorite track from State Champs, The Finer Things. Similar to what I was saying, every song in pop punk just blends together at a certain point. In the same way, it's hard for me to like really pinpoint the songs I really liked towards the middle and the back end of the record. It was also hard to pick one that I'm like, oh, I really don't like this because it's like, this sounds like everything else. So why would I dislike this more than I dislike something else? Right. So I did not really pick one. I'm just saying it does. You start to like sort of just lose focus on it. Starts to feel just like you're listening to the same song on repeat a little bit at the end. I think a lot of the more poppy and like really, really catchy ones are more towards the beginning and kind of like a few songs in. And then towards the end of the record, you're like, okay, I've heard this one before. I didn't really have any negative feelings towards it. I'm listening to it a little bit more just to get to know those songs. So as I hopefully like start to, learn these songs a little bit better, I'll probably feel like, I can tell them apart now. But I didn't think I would really pick like a negative one from this. I liked this record just fine. I thought it was really fun. Much like a lot of the other records where you turn your brain off and you just have a good time. It's summer. I feel like if I didn't listen to this during the summer, I might feel differently.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like this is not a winter record to me, but like if I'm listening to this and the sun's out and it's time for good vibes, like I think the vibes are there. I think it's just a good vibe record.
Here are my thoughts on State Champs, The Finer Things. This came out when I was just starting college. In 2013, I was very much adverse to this brocore pop punk scene that was coming out. I didn't like the fans when I've gone to shows when these other types of brocore acts were there. And that really turned me off as somebody who likes to be in the pit and likes to be like in that environment. It was just like not what I was used to, and it really wasn't friendly. I didn't feel welcome there. So I was aware of State Champs because I have accidentally seen them so many times too. And I had quite a few friends who really did like them too. And I was like, yeah, I'm not into like this brocore type of vibe. It just isn't for me, whatever. I just move on. And listening to this album, Elevated, to open that album with a really strong song like that, it's good because as we always say, you really want a really good banger song to kick off an album. Originally, though, because of my only preconceived notions, I'm like, oh, they're putting their best foot forward here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what if the rest sucks, though? Because I don't know. This is the only single. It's not like it's multiple. Yep. So I was a little bit skeptical. But then, like, listening to it through, I was actually, like, really impressed. I did really like this album. Like, I was like, oh, no. Like,
we're so disappointed we liked this. We are so mad that we liked this record. That's crazy.
But I did really like this record. I found myself, I thought it was going to be that generic brocore. And then listening to Elevate, I said, okay, is this going to be more like Blink-182 vibes? Which if I did want that, I'd have Blink-182 at home. But then it started to go through. And I think what really did it for me and caught me off guard is that they have a lot of different songs that have longer openings that they're playing with different instrumentation. And that's what's making me get pulled into it. Then it's going into the lyrics, which this is like very much a summer bop like soundtrack. Like that's what it is. So my top tracks from The Finer Things by State Champs are...
I already know one you're going to say. I guarantee it.
Oh, do you?
I heard it and I'm like, I know how Lizzie's going to describe this. And I think this is going to be on it. I'm like, if she likes the record, this is one that she's going to say is a top track.
Okay.
And I know why. We'll see if you say it.
Oh, all right. Hard to Please was one that I did really like. This is much more catchy OG pop punk. It reminded me of New Found Glory, which makes sense because they worked with a former member of New Found Glory.
Yep.
And I mean, I like New Found Glory enough to be like, this is a vibe. I do enjoy this. The second track that I really like was Simple Existence.
Are you waiting to see if it's the one? I'm waiting for you to describe it, and then I go, that's the, yeah.
This gives me more Starting Line vibes.
Okay.
And I like that it has this like guitar riff opener, and it just makes it more exciting. It builds it up a little bit for me. And it just sounds like an older Starting Line song to me, which I love the Starting Line. And I think they're able to make it more of that energetic pop punk modern twist on it with it, because they are able to kind of play around a lot with their instruments and with Discanio's voice as well. Are you gonna? I'm nervous now, Brian.
Maybe you're not gonna say it. Maybe I was like,
I don't know. I'm really nervy right now.
No, it's fine.
Critical was the one that I liked. This has more of this like kind of epic beginning in the intro that I would almost argue could have been the opening track. It really brings you into it. It's kind of theatrical in a way. And I feel like if they put that there and then elevated, I think it would have elevated the... What did you think I was going to put?
The song that starts off with a tasty bass riff. And I was like, this is going to go. I like this one because I love a tasty bass riff.
A juicy bass riff.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, prepare to be noticed. I was like, it's got that tasty bass riff. I bet Liz is going to say it's got that tasty bass.
Yeah, it just didn't, that one didn't stand out too much to me.
I know. I thought it was just going to be like,
bass
I'm
riff.
in. The bass riff's there, I'm in.
I wasn't in for that one. It was fine. Like that one I was like, I like the bass, but.
Well, bad guess then. My bad.
It's okay. You were right though about the tasty bass riff.
I was right about the tasty bass.
That. You know me.
The basty taster.
My least favorite track from State Champs' The Finer Things. I didn't really have any that I hated. Like I went back and I re-listened and I said, am I revolted by any of these like so distinguishably? And I'm not. I think there's some that I really like moreover than others, and some that are just like, yeah, they're there. It's in the background, and that's about it. I have nothing bad to say about it. I think it's good. I hate that our friends were right.
This is so stupid. Like, our friends liked this so much and told us, like, you should listen to State Champs for so long, and we said, no, thank you. And now here we are saying, like, yeah, well, I like the record. Oh, was there any song you didn't like? No, not really. This sucks. This sucks, man. I really wanted to be right and tell my friends, like, no, you don't know anything about music. It's like, nah, all right. You're onto something here.
Yeah, you're onto something.
Somebody cooked. Someone cooked here.
Someone cooked. We let them simmer.
Who let them cook? Those are our thoughts on State Champs, The Finer Things. But there are other people who also think things about The Finer Things. And we went to Amazon and we went to critics to find out what they wrote. For the most part, Amazon did not have a lot of reviews on this that were not just like sort of one word, like love it or my vinyl came bent.
Oh,
so not a lot.
Sorry, homie.
But I found one. This is somebody who really liked this record. Kyle Rocks 1002.
Okay.
Reviewed October 8th, 2013. 5 stars. These State Champs take the trophy. What can I say? First, Newfound Glory. Then Blink-182. Then All Time Low. Then Green Day. Then Simple Plan. Then Alkaline Trio. Then The Wonder Years. Then The Story So Far. Then Tonight Alive. And now, State Champs.
I feel like we're not in chronological order here.
What is going to come after this record? I wish this record was available at the Best Buy where I live, because it is actually not, even though it comes out today. I believe that this band will become a success with this record. The songs are great. 3 people found that helpful.
Damn, get Best Buy's asses then.
I am not one of them.
Okay.
I am not one of the people who found that helpful.
All right, I'm sorry.
Those bands were not in chronological order.
What
will come after this record?
Why was All Time Low before Green Day?
Yeah.
Why was Alkaline Trio after all that?
Like, why were there all these bands that are like massive, and then it's like, no offense to Tonight Alive, but like these bands are gigantic.
Yeah.
And especially in the US. And you're like, Tonight Alive is there too, though. It's like, yeah, they're great. Why? What?
Like, what's going on? I don't know, homie.
I don't know, man. You listed too many lists.
And nobody asked for that list either.
Nope. No one needed it.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got. Then
right.
Another review. Then another review. Then critic reviews.
All right. Craig reviews music. 9.5 out of 10 stars in 2013. These days I'm finding it harder and harder to truly appreciate pop punk as a genre. More and more often, the music seems to be taking a backseat to the cliches it provokes. Fortunately, The Finer Things by State Champs is all about the music, and it was always going to take an album as brilliant as this one to make me fall in love with the genre again. State Champs are a band who've been on my radar for a few months now, and The Finer Things is their first full length following the release of their excellent EP, Overslept, and their signing to Pure Noise Records, home of artists like The Story So Far and Handguns. Expect trademark sing-along moments, bouncing guitar riffs, vocal hooks aplenty, and just an all-around good time. It makes for a record that will sit well with anyone who's already a fan of the genre and will reel back in those who have grown apart from it, like myself. The Finer Things is infectious, and it's impossible not to like it. State Champs have put together one of the best albums you're likely to hear this year, and easily 2013's best pop punk release. That's quite an achievement considering this year has produced the greatest generation.
Yeah.
But State Champs have bettered it. That becomes...
Okay, what? Now, hold on.
Hey, Craig, what?
I don't know if I agree with that, but
yeah,
let's let them cook.
That becomes even more of an achievement considering it's their debut album. And I've never been more confident when I say that this band are going to be absolutely huge. The Finer Things speaks for itself, and if you pass it by, you're missing out.
The Wonder Years are a better band.
Yeah.
I think that's just in the way that they write songs, they're a better band. But it is kind of wild that they're like, they took what the Wonder Years did just like a week ago and made it better. It's like, no, okay,
like,
hold on. This is pop punk that is derivative of a lot of other stuff. It just does it in a really good way.
Yeah.
You know, it wears its influences, but you're like, it's good. The Wonder Years kind of started to make their own way and kind of started to like combine all their influences and make something that was unique for the pop punk scene. So like, no, I'm sorry.
I was like, that's a little egregious.
Derek. I'm sorry, everybody in Wonder Years and State Champs. But no, the Wonder Years are objectively better band.
Yes. And then I have one more from The Dying Scene. 4 out of 5 stars, no author and no date. So
cool.
It was written at a certain point.
Yeah.
The Finer Things proves that State Champs are chomping at the bit to show how pop punk needs to be done. They do the genre justice right here. It's that simple. Any of the past music they put out has evolved, and they were pretty tight before. It's not the illustrious step in their career, but it's a few big steps forward. What they do to the pop punk game is show that they have the ambition to spin it on its head, and bands like that need more appreciation. Consider yourself warned. State Champs will be making waves soon. If you liked them before, you're going to be amped when this hits your player. New fans, prep yourself. The Finer Things could not be a more well-titled record. A few minor kinks here and there, but certainly worth the pickup.
Fucking State Champs, man. Fuck you.
I can't believe it.
Fuck our friends. Those were our thoughts. Those were other people's thoughts. Those are all the thoughts we could find on the internet. And now we have to give one final thought to you, the internet. Should you see State Champs play the Finer Things in full at When We Were Young 2024? We did not go to the show.
No.
That happened in 2023, the 10-year anniversary. I guess this would be, our opportunity to see it. I don't believe they're going to be doing it again as a tour or anything like that. It's now the 11th year, so
yeah.
I guess we want to wait for another 5 or whatever, and like maybe they'll do it at 15. But I think that this would be something I would try to check out. State Champs does put on a good show. Derek's vocals are really good. Like they are fun. There's going to be a crowd there that's like really into it. The summertime vibes of this are going to be on display in Vegas. So like there's a lot that brings me to this stage on that day. I would recommend it. I think that if there is a band that I like more though, that's playing at the same time, like for me, I just don't have the nostalgia for it. I don't have the feelings towards it in the same way a lot of people do who listen to this in 2013. So that would be the only if there's a conflict, I'm, choosing the conflict probably.
Yeah.
But I like this record and I would like to hear them play it live. So 20-year tour, I'll see you there.
I think I would try to see maybe 1 or 2 songs and then probably go to wherever else I would go to see what other bands that I want to check out. Because 1, I don't have the nostalgia for it. And then 2, there are going to be other bands that I am a little bit more personally invested in. They do put on a really fun show. The few times I've seen them accidentally, everyone's always up and moving. But I feel like other people, if you are really into State Champs, or if you really just want something that's just newer pop punk, that's really bubbly and energetic, definitely check it out.
So that's where we'll be at When We Were Young 2024. Where will you be? Hopefully you'll be in the comments letting us know if you agree with us. Were we right? Were we wrong? Have you listened to this record before? And are you also mad at us that this is the first time we've heard this and that we like it so much? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. We have all 57 records coming to this channel, so you don't want to miss one when we talk about your favorite that we also never listened to and now like for some reason. Thanks.
Yeah, hate it.
Remember that we have longer versions of these episodes if you are a YouTube member on our channel, or if you go over to our Patreon. It's just $1 to subscribe and you get additional content from us, more about us, more behind the scenes stuff. It's a lot of fun. But until then, until When We Were Young, until State Champs, and until the Finer Things, we'll see you there.